Hey everyone, welcome to episode 19 of the Miami Tech Pod. I'm Cesar Fernandez. I'm joined by Will Weinrob, Brian Breslin, and we have a very special guest this week. Maria Durkee is with us. She's a really big deal. She's you may know her as the hottest VC in Miami right now, writing checks, doing all these deals, hosting happy hours. Maria, welcome to the Miami Tech Pod.
Shut up. You guys are hazing me constantly.
No, but we should before we go into some of the really cool events this week, we almost did not have Brian on the pod because he spent the entire week in Turks and Caicos. Brian, how was that?
That was a long overdue vacation. And you can see from the sunburn on my face, for the people watching this on YouTube, that I got a little too much sun. But I did accomplish something that very few people I know ever have. I shot a hole-in-one in golf after shooting 5 straight holes of 8 or higher previous to that. So for those of you who don't follow golf, that is terrible golf. But I had a little dance, and my brother-in-law recorded it.
All right, 15th hole, Provo Golf Course, Turks and Caicos. Brian Breslin, first hole in one. Is that it?
After shooting 140.
Yes. This is it. Getting on it. Boom. Boom. Whoop, whoop. There it is.
Brian Breslin, Tiger Woods, Phil Mickelson, Arnold Palmer. Like we're making history over there. Brian, congrats.
I'd like you to think that you're, in the presence of greatness right now, but that's really Maria that you're in the presence of. So,
we got that for sure. Brian, you also you have a lot of change in your life, right? You have your house on the market. I saw some tweets where you're dropping a really swanky, staged house on Zillow. You guys you're getting offers. What's the deal there?
So we're trying to parlay this whole fervor over the Miami tech industry and all the movement to Miami. We've already had one offer from someone who saw it online. It's kind of wild. This is in kind of like Shorecrest, so it's right near the bay, just outside of Miami Shores, just north of where Maria lives, which we won't disclose on the podcast for her privacy purposes. But yeah, so we had one offer like within hours of it going up on Zillow, and then we've got 5 people seeing it today privately, and then open house tomorrow. And all these people have announced to our realtor that they're all cash offers, which is wild to me. Like in my mind, I picture people with bags of money, like those satchels of money with a dollar sign printed on the side. That's how I assume it works.
Also, what a baller move that Brian is just casually listing his house $200K above the Zestimate on Zillow and getting cash offer left and right from people who are not planning to see it before buying it. This is amazing.
I want to hear your guys' opinion. I think our listeners would also value the opinions of this, this panel here that we have, this esteemed panel. Are we at the top of the Miami pricing market, or you think this is just going to continue to go? Is the summer going to suck some of the steam and the momentum out of the market, or is this just going to continue to rat up? Curious to hear everybody's thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, Maria, you have a husband in real estate. What are your thoughts?
So I don't know what he would say. I would say summer will stabilize it. Like it won't necessarily drop. I think it'll just kind of stay stable, and then maybe in the fall it'll keep going up. Complete guess.
Sorry,
but that's what I'm thinking.
So I think we're gonna see, like in early July, like late June, we're gonna see a surge of people whose kids are just getting out of school and decided that they're planning on moving back to Miami or moving to Miami for the first time, and there's gonna be that rush in early June, July. So whoever wants me to wait till then to sell my house, it'll go up another X 100,000. Just kidding. That was the douchiest thing I've said on this podcast.
It's good. the big thing in my mind is like I think we are going to see like certain neighborhoods that have hit escape velocity and are just never going to be affordable again, right? So I particularly have been hired by 2 tech companies who are like relocating here, like just help them navigate all things from, you know, finding a real estate broker to like, you know, interfacing with government and meeting, you know, the who's who of like the business community and all of that. And the 2 companies in totality are planning on expanding about 400. So one's 400 and the other is close to 1,000 jobs. So we're talking about like 1,500 jobs with 2 companies that just hired like me, one person, right? Imagine all of the other companies that are not on my radar. Imagine all the other companies that have raised capital, that are homegrown companies that are about to go on a hiring spree. I think there's like a substantial amount, like a market that's going to be open for the like technology workers in general. They're like, oh, you know what? Let me spend a couple of years building this company in Miami, like, and I'm going to move from, you know, wherever, right? Or I'm graduating from college, and rather than my limiting my search to LA, Chicago, you know, San Francisco, New York, I'm going to add Miami to that. So my thesis on real estate is that we're going to see Brickell downtown, you know, like basically east of I-95, Miami Beach, just start like skyrocketing in value. It's not going to be necessarily like the sharpest increase, but we'll see like increases over time in those particular neighborhoods, and like average growth everywhere else.
I think that's actually that seems spot on in my opinion. I think the areas that are within a, let's say, 5-mile or 15-minute drive of downtown or Wynwood, you know, everything in sort of the Biscayne corridor up to probably Miami Shores or just north of it, and then south to the Grove and maybe the Gables. I think closer to the US 1 Biscayne 95 corridor, though, you're going to see a ton of development coming into these, also the pockets that weren't developed before. You know, the roads areas, the Little Havana. I think
Just west of here too.
Yeah, just west too. Yeah, I think because the reality is, like, if you're going to come here and you're going to work, set up your shop in Wynwood or somewhere near Wynwood, you're not going to want to live in Kendall, right? Because it's going to be an hour commute, because there's never going to be any public transit, and there's never going to be any, you know, respite to that commute. That's, you know, forever going to be the case, right? So east-west is going to be a challenging commute for most people.
Cool. Well, look, a lot of exciting things to get into. Maria Durchi, the queen of the happy hour, the queen of Miami tech networking, the queen of the cocktails, has been busy this week. Maria, why don't you give us a little bit of a rundown of all of these amazing events that you put together?
For those of you who don't know me, anytime these people talk like this, it makes me incredibly uncomfortable, which is why they keep doing it. And it's
yes,
killing me.
it's a feedback loop to hell. We apologize, Maria. We love you. It's out of love.
I'm not
I promise.
the queen of anything. I do like to meet new people, which has me going to a lot of events. But this Tuesday, I was excited to bring back Women in Miami Tech Happy Hours, which I started, I guess, 4 or 5 years ago. It was a group that initially was a Slack channel, and then we all wanted to get together. And so we finally started them up again. We collaborated with Endeavor Miami, who was hosting a female founders and funders event. So we kind of both went to host this happy hour, and it was at a really cool space that just opened. For those who aren't aware, haven't checked it out yet, it's the Oasis Wynwood. Really cool spot. A bunch of different food vendors. The staff was incredible, so highly recommend checking that out. And it was a really good turnout. I think we had about probably close to 100 women who came out.
Wow.
So excited to do it again soon in the next few weeks. And then on Wednesday, Florida Funders, in collaboration with On Deck, we hosted a happy hour at La Tropical, which is another incredible venue. If you haven't been, it's actually, I think, 1 block away from the Oasis on North Miami Ave in Wynwood. Incredible owner, Manny. Big shout out to Manny and all the staff there. There was a great band playing called Seven Black, spelled BLCK. It was an incredible night, a great turnout. It was kind of a bit hot. Poor Cesar was sweating through his shirt, but
Yeah,
it was.
it was like 90 degrees outside, but I agree that it was a really cool venue, Maria. And shout out to you and everyone that helps you put this on. I mean, it was like tons and tons of people, investors, founders, just like a really, really great vibe. I was blown away that everyone was there at 5 p.m. sharp. It was just like a really great event. And then another shout out to the staff at La Tropical, because like every single time I was about to finish my beer, they're like, "Sir, would you like another one?" And then in 30 seconds, it was just like perfect service. I
They were
really
on
like
top
that
of their
place.
game. Yeah, every time I turned around, they were like, "Hi, can I give you something?" I'm like, "This is incredible. They did a great job." So not
Caesar,
first
did you
of
end up
many
spending
events.
$300 and like end up with alcohol poisoning as a result?
No, because Florida funders picked up the tab, so I spent $0.
See,
Thank you,
Brian, you should
Florida
have flown back from Turks and Caicos.
So no, but it was a really great event, and I hope you guys got some deal flow out of it for sure, because there was a lot of cool people building neat companies there.
Yeah, and Caesar finally met. There's somebody I've been wanting to introduce Caesar to for months, maybe a year, and they finally met. I didn't even put them two together, and they ended up talking to each other at the happy hour. Fran Oliva, who Brian you know closely. So that was great. Alex Roy, who was previously on the podcast, was there, and Jason Wong, who we shot out to last episode, was there too. So it was just a really great crew, and it was basically the whole event was about celebrating Miami Tech. So it was a combination of new folks that have been building here a while. So yeah, I think it showed it. We'll probably do a lot more of those in the coming months.
I have a funny story about it's Francisco, right? Francisco Oliva.
Yeah.
So we were kind of speculating on crypto and whether this is going to be like a really big run, and if this is a good time to, like the small talk of tech events, right? Like you speculate a bit on the price of Bitcoin, et cetera, right? And he's like, dude, like, I think this is going to be a hot bull market forever, like blah, blah, blah. Just, really. And look, he's in the space. He has a lot of knowledge about it. And then like an hour later, Bitcoin crashes 15% to like $46,000. It was just funny but obviously it's back up and it was temporary and all that, but it was a really funny moment that evening.
I'll give one more shout out to an incredible local food place here. So a few weeks ago, we had a barbecue. There was a barbecue organized, Drinking Pig, if you guys have heard of it. It's the chef is like the former chef of Q, and he's had an incredible background in Miami. So there was a big Miami Tech barbecue organized there. It was like 70 of us outside in these picnic tables. And the food was hands down best barbecue I've had in Miami. I know Brian is a barbecue connoisseur, so I'm excited for him to go try it. But what was crazy is I uploaded a picture of the barbecue to my Instagram. My mom called me immediately, and I thought she was going to get mad at me for being at a big barbecue. But she asked me, she's like, "Who is the blonde woman next to you?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's Bea." And she's like, "You do realize you're cousins, right?" And I'm like, "Wait, what?" So it turns out that our grandmothers are cousins. So it's not first cousin, but in Puerto Rico, everybody's kind of related, it turns out. So in this crazy turn of events, I didn't realize I had been hanging out for the last few months with my cousin. But big shout out to Bea. She's an incredible startup, Musicasa. You need to check it out, helping kind of live artist bands, particularly Latin bands, kind of get more visibility.
I feel like that should be like a Miami Tech thing. Like Miami Tech, you're not just like family. We actually discover family that you never knew you had, here in Miami.
Yeah.
Yes, maybe we have to do like a 23andMe.
Yeah, like come to these events for the networking and camaraderie stay for the realization that you've been cousins this whole time. That's amazing. A couple other things this week, we had some news of a pretty sweet competition that's being launched. Will, I think you were going to chat about this about Wyncubator, right?
Yeah, this looks awesome. So apparently, in partnership with Goldman Properties, Mayor Francis Suarez, Venture Miami, and On Deck, they got together and they created this thing called the Wyncubator competition, which is going to be held on Wednesday, May 26th. And it's like a little kind of pitch competition. Basically, a bunch of startups can apply, share what they're working on. And if you win the competition, you get 1 year rent-free in a fully furnished office for up to 10 of your employees right in the middle of Wynwood, with 5 complimentary parking spaces. And as someone who previously had their startup HQ'd in Wynwood, those 5 spaces, that's a big deal. So actually, this looks really, really cool. And you also get, I think, included with this, a full scholarship to On Deck as well for one of their upcoming programs. So I would encourage anybody that has a growing team to apply to this. Applications are due May 17th. So if you're listening to this, it's today, Monday, May 17th. And the pitch night is going to be May 26th. So hopefully, if you didn't apply, you're listening to the Miami Tech Podcast first thing in the morning. Get your applications in. Should be a really cool event and obviously a really cool reward. These spaces in Wynwood, they're going up in cost very, very rapidly. So I would imagine a space in Wynwood for 10 people with 5 parking spots, you're looking at 10 G's a month, roughly, probably somewhere between like 7 and 10 grand, depending on the space. So
damn,
strongly encourage you guys to apply and find more information at goldenproperties.com/Wyncubator. We'll drop the link in the description of the pod.
So that street, it's the location is literally across the street from the Lab Miami, which is one of the original co-working spaces in Miami. It's a ton of companies have, gotten started out of that block, and so plus you have some great food options and you got a bunch of stuff around there. You got Zach the Baker like 50 feet away from there. You got WeWork above it, or around the corner from it, a ton of interesting stuff. So I think it's a great opportunity for anybody.
Some also, pretty big news. The former PayPal CEO, Bill Harris, said that he's going to be moving to Miami, or has moved to Miami, and he's launching Nirvana, which is a global digital bank. He says he plans to hire 200 people by the end of 2022, and it's going to be based in Wynwood. Speaking of Wynwood, this was pretty big news. I mean, I think this is, obviously like, growing a digital bank. It's a ton of engineering jobs, but he's also going to have some roles in product and marketing and operations and all of that. But another company making some big news about scaling up right here in Miami. What was everyone's feedback and reaction to this?
I mean, I think this is going to be an interesting dynamic now for the local tech workers here in Miami. We've traditionally had lower salaries than the market should be producing. So it sucks in the short term for the founders who are hiring people because their burn rates are going to, go up. But I think the fact of the matter is you're not going to be able to find a junior dev out of a boot camp for $40,000 anymore. Like you're going to be paying them 70, 80, and like a mid-level manager is going to be making 150 to 200, whereas 6 months ago, and even honestly, as of yesterday, I saw someone trying to hire a mid-level manager for under 80,000, which isn't really like a solid wage here in Miami anymore. But we're going to start seeing competition for wages go up, and it's fine because there's going to be so much more money like splashing around in all these different companies. So I'm here for it, even though like I've been in the sort of the founder role. I'm also been in the work for other people role. I think this wage competition is going to be a net good for us.
I wonder if this is partly a Miami thing as the city becomes more and more expensive to live in, but also this feels like just talent in general Like, for example, as you guys know, I don't think it's any secret, I'm starting a new company, right? A new software company. It's a fully remote-based company, right? I mean, we have the co-founders, I'm here, we have, a couple other people that are, one's in California, one's in Nashville. So we're hiring from all over the country. We don't really care where you're located.
What? Wait, Will, you're starting a company?
Breaking news on the Miami Tech Pod.
What?
More
Is Will
information
starting
more information on a further episode, a future
That's
episode.
That's what I was trying to get. I was fishing for the tease, right? Because Will, for like 4 or 5 episodes, has been dropping little breadcrumbs here and there. I have a new project, more information to come. Then it's followed up with a tweet, working on some cool thing. And then it gets like extra layered because there's some people that are like, oh, just met with this great founder. He's starting a new company. And Will's like, ha ha ha. Wonder who that is. Will, when are you spilling the tea, man?
I think I'll have something to announce probably in the next month or so. I want to build up a few things and get things in place before we do any public announcements. But I think everybody, is kind of hearing through the grapevine some of the things that I'm working on, and I think publicly to display in media and Twitter and that whole world, hopefully sometime soon. But nonetheless, anyways, back to the conversation at hand about distributed tech talent. The world just post-COVID, everything's going up. I feel like because people are hiring from everywhere, you're not like, okay, what's in your backyard? You're just seeing just the levels rise across the board. So like Brian talked about junior engineers, in Miami, I remember in the Live Ninja days, junior engineer between 70 and 90K, depending on the engineer. Nowadays, I'm sure that's way up there. I'm probably in like the 110, 120 range, right? So a significant jump. And I think you're just seeing that on a geo-agnostic basis, is that it doesn't matter where you're located, rates are going up across the board because you got the Palo Alto folks hiring out of Nebraska or Ohio also. They don't care where you live. So it's a problem we're all going to have to figure out together.
Yeah, all really good points. Go ahead, Brian.
I think so first off, I want to call Will an NFTs about his company information. That was my pun of the day. But no, I think that the key is going to be time zone arbitrage. The folks who are on, within a few hours of East Coast or within a few hours of West Coast are going to be hired up, and that means you're competing vertically. What is it? Longitude, right? Mm-hmm. And so for the folks,
I don't like longitude. One's vertical, one's horizontal.
Right, whichever one's vertical. And I think for the folks who've been here for a while, who had that arbitrage opportunity and had been taking advantage of teams in Latin America, this is going to open up a bunch of competition and also open up a bunch of opportunities to the folks in the Valley who hadn't been using Latin American talent. And I think that gives us an advantage of having language, options that a lot of the folks in the Valley don't have, so.
Also, back to Nirvana's kind of mission here, which I think it's really important. It's obviously it's not all that shocking given, that Harris is a former CEO of PayPal and all that, but it's another startup that's going to be really well capitalized that's trying to completely disrupt traditional banking. The thesis is that, traditional banks absolutely screw over customers. They're not great with consumer protections. You have all of these hidden fees, from overdraft fees to really shady practices. And there's like a ton of these companies that are starting that are just like, what if we were just like not assholes to our customers and didn't have all of these fees and tried to make money with other, sustainable practices, like just building a solid business and offering products, and then, making, investments on the back end or upcharging for different services that people find value in and want to pay for. But really it's another company that's really trying to disrupt the traditional banking space, from, accounts to credit cards with better terms for customers. And I think that's really, really needed right now, right? Like a lot of we saw with the pandemic, that there's a lot of strain on people's finances. We saw a lot of business owners like dipping the savings and all that. And I think like coming out of that, more companies in the space that are like, focused on consumer protection and really adding value to their customers is great. And it's cool that we're seeing one here in Miami. All right. We'll wrap up here. This was episode 19 of the Miami Tech Pod. Thanks everyone for listening. Thank you for, like always, subscribing and sharing your feedback and telling everyone about the show. It really means a lot to us. Hit us up at Twitter at Miami Tech Pod, and we will see you on episode 20.